locked away. And last and certainly not least, the CEO of YMCA of Greater Richmond, Jody Alexander, buries it. We went 5 for 5. Make some noise for our first kicks of the evening.
The head referee for tonight's match is John Matto. The referee assistants are Sun Yinka Kalinde and Andrew Charon. The fourth official is Gary Gutierrez. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the starting lineup for Union Omaha. In goal, number 99, Cole Jensen. Number 5, Jamie Orson. Number 6, Sammy Guadiri. Number 8, Gabriel Cabral. Number 9, Pato Botello Faz. Number 11, Dylan Borjak. Number 14, Brent Coleman. Number 15, Brandon Knapp. Number 16, Lawrence Wheaton. Number 19, Cameron Lawrence. Number 21, Aaron Gomez. The head coach for Union Omaha is Vincenzo Candela. His assistants are Lars Eckenroe, Ollie Richardson, and Luke Baxter.
Shake that. Doing shuffling.
After dancing with the major leagues, the Richmond Kickers and Union Omaha face off back in their own division for some weekend soccer at City Stadium. This match is brought to you by U-Crops. Welcome one and all. On ESPN Plus, it's the Kickers and the Owls doing battle. My name is Mark Schoenster. Excited to be presenting this one to you. Let's catch you up on what these two teams did during the midweek. Their Open Cup runs came to an end, but a high honor for both these teams. For the Kickers, not often you get to host an MLS team in your home stadium. Over 5,000 in attendance on the midweek. A lot of great vibes there. Meanwhile, for the Owls, they went toe-to-toe with Colorado Rapids, the MLS side, a side that's been scoring at a high clip at the MLS level. They had a really good chance to win that game, and it wouldn't have been an unreasonable result had that been the case. But to switch over to league play, the Richmond Kickers have not had a smooth start to this season. But listen, they've already proven that they could dance with some good teams. They beat Loudoun United, a USL Championship side, in the Open Cup. And they've got the veteran leadership of Darren Sawatsky at the helm. On top of that, you've got some great offensive weapons for a team that hasn't quite found their offensive clicking just yet. A back line right now that's a bit beleaguered with injuries. You want these guys on the top end to alleviate some of that pressure, and it just hasn't happened yet. But you've got players like Espinal, Kirkland, Panholzer, and others who can get going and can make these numbers look a lot more flattering for Richmond as the season goes along. And one of those players that they'll be looking to is tonight's player to watch, presented by Pollo Campero, Joshua Kirkland. They already know that he can produce with this team. He did it last season. He already has one goal this season. You could find him in transition. Perhaps then you could starting to get everything clicking offensively for not only him, but for the rest of the team, not only in this game, but for the season going forward. Now, the fortunes are really different for Union Omaha. They have been having a ripping start to the 2026 season. They're fluid. The rotations have been clicking dynamically on offense. Everyone's contributing. Even the center back, Samuel Owusu, has scored countless times to start the year. And now the question is, can you keep your wits? Because yes, you did really well in that match against an MLS side. Didn't come out with the result, but you could be really confident about the team as a whole in that. But you now have to hold that bar for the rest of the season. And one of those players who will be responsible for holding that standard is Gabriel Cabral. This is an experienced player in the USL, both in League One and in the Championship. And they can't overlook this game against Richmond. They're a team at the lower end of the table. It would be very easy to just shrug them off. Cabral will be the player that will need to make sure everybody stays in shape and is applying the proper intensity in this match here this evening. Omaha may have had a better start, but the Kickers swept the series in 2025. Do they have the secret sauce against the Owls, or will Los Buhos string together a 5th straight win in League One play? Find out after this break on ESPN Plus.
We would not have a business today if it weren't for the support of many, many people within the Richmond community. To me, we're working as a team to enhance the quality of life for all residents.
It's about being the best that you can be. It's about enriching the lives of people in your community. There's a reason why we have the tagline Nourish, because it's really about nourishing the lives of the people that work for us and the people that we serve. That's what the U-Crops brand stands for.
Welcome to Royal New Kent Golf Club. Designed by world-renowned architect Mike Strantz, Royal New Kent's a one-of-a-kind Irish-style golf course located 20 minutes east of Richmond, Virginia. Royal New Kent was featured in Golf Week's top 100 public courses in the country. Hidden behind grassy knolls and hand-stacked rock walls, each hole offers several playing options to fit a wide range of abilities. Visit royalnewkent.com or follow us on social media for more information on tee times and rates. Remember, come to Royal New Kent Golf Club to Golf Ireland in Virginia.
It's your auntie. I had the best visit to the Y, just like you said I would. I got a tour of the gym. I saw your friend at the pool. They showed me your classroom and a place for me to learn too. And I saw the place where all the backpacks go like you told me about.
Girl power!
I'm back home now, but I hope you had a great day and I can't wait for you to show me around.
Wow.
Love you, honey.
The Y, your place to thrive.
This match is presented to you by YMCA. It's Union Omaha and the Richmond Kickers doing battle on ESPN+. Mark Schoenster with you for the broadcast. Kickoff is impending here. Let's get you a look at our two starting lineups. These lineups are brought to you by Ortho Virginia. First off, for the Kickers, 9 players who started on Wednesday's Open Cup game are starting in this match. You would love to get more rotation, but the fact of the matter is for Darren Sawatsky and his crew, he doesn't really have that option in a couple of these spots, especially on the back line where Dakota Bardathan, who is really more of a midfielder, has had to slot in as a center back. Meanwhile, for the Owls, only 4 guys who started in the game on Tuesday are starting in this one. Outside of that, a ton of rotation, including Jamie Orson at center back, getting his first professional start. Already has 2 appearances in league play this year, but the kid from Atlanta, Georgia, turned 24 last Thursday, so really not much of a kid anymore, but a kid in the professional sense, getting his first start. Special day for Jamie and his professional prospects. We're feeling really blue today in Richmond as far as the kits are concerned. Richmond with their dark blue Give Me Liberty kits. Meanwhile, it's the light blue Glacial Current uniforms for Union Omaha. And although it's a glacial current, it certainly doesn't feel glacial right now in Richmond, Virginia, around mid-80 degrees. As John Motto sounds the whistle, we are off and running here. First meeting of the season between the Kickers and the Owls. Let's see how it unfurls here. We welcome you in wherever you may be tuning in from, whether you're a Richmond fan who couldn't make it out to the game, an Owls fan who obviously it's a little bit taller of a task to get to this match in person, or you're just an interested third-party observer. I hope you're having a wonderful Saturday, and it just got a little bit better because you get to watch the beautiful game. It's really an intriguing prediction situation here between these two sides, because if you look at form, obviously you're going to lean in favor of Union Omaha, who have gotten off to a great start, have won 4 straight games in USL League One play. But the story of last season in 2025, a year where Union Omaha made the playoffs and had a pretty successful year, and the Richmond Kickers, who were pretty far off from that playoff line, was a series where the Richmond Kickers won both matches. So you never know when a certain team just matches up nicely with another team and they can get the better of the game. Clear handball there from Tarek Panholzer. Let's take a look at our injury report presented by Bon Secourt. None reported for Union Omaha, but for the Kickers, you've got 2 important members of that back line in Ethan Koss and Sean Vinberg, who are both still unavailable. These are guys that are projected starters for Darren Sawatsky. And then Tyler Freeman, another option on the attacking side, whom still not quite ready to go yet. It's also worth acknowledging Sam Layton, who is starting in this game, not at 100% either. But if you're fit to play at least a little bit, then sometimes your name just has to get called and you got to figure it out, especially when you're shorthanded in a particular position group. Borzak chops this one aside for Wotton. And he has that ball poked away, and it's cleared up the field. You can hear the chanting from the fans in attendance here at City Stadium. Always a good fan culture in Richmond, and they're able to get a ton of people out for a game on a work night / a school night. I mean, not every day you get the Columbus Crew or any Major League Soccer team in your stadium. And what a special evening it is when that is the occasion. I'm sure they've sold tons of drinks, and it was a great time, even though it was a 3-0 result in favor of Columbus Crew, knocking off the Kickers and moving on to the next round in the Lamar Hunt US Open Cup. But it was a game that Darren Sawatsky said we were on the front foot for the first 20 or so minutes, and I think that tracks. They had chances, and if one of those opportunities, very clear-cut opportunities, goes in for a goal, then that's an entirely different game, because then you know that the Goliath in this scenario now feels the pressure down a goal, and then you are more prone to make mistakes as opposed to a game where they were able to get more comfortable as the match went along. Sawatsky gave a ton of credit to the coaching staff and just the talent that MLS team had to offer. But at the same time, this is a Richmond team that's still a little bit beaten up, especially along that back line, as we already touched base on, and they had to pull some of those players like Sam Layton and Neil Seufert during that game and replace them with younger, less experienced players, and that's going to lend an advantage to an MLS side with a deeper roster. And of course, we're going to have players with pretty great talent comparatively, having played at the, or having playing currently in the top flight of the United States. A level of the game that a lot of these players for Richmond and Union Omaha have aspirations to reach. It's always a special week when not only do you get a USL Championship team playing an MLS side, but when a League One team can, that's a pretty cool game. Panholzer. That one didn't get very far. Sami Guediri doing well. G. Marana does well to shrug off the contact from Gomez and keep possession for the home side. Dancing through the middle, trying to find an opening and finding the top bins. What a shot and a goal for the Richmond Kickers. Darwin Espinal has a penchant for letting him fly from distance, and he converts another. His first goal of the season for the Kickers. He was their leading scorer last season. And look at him let it fly. I mean, you find your spot, put your laces through it. Defenders closing him off from both angles. Yeah, you gotta flick your wrist after that one. That's nasty business. Darwin Espinal. His second year with the club, had 9 goals, 4 assists last season. And they're on to something again. Panholzer, across the middle it goes. Cole Jensen didn't get a piece of it, so it'll be a goal kick. Well, let's take a look at this evening's keys to the game presented by Haley. So for the Richmond Kickers, the idea is that you want to load the trap and be ready for the counter in order to get your offensive production going. Well, I mean, they just bypassed that and said, we'll just get one ourselves right from the get-go. It's a fantastic goal from Darwin Espinal. And on the flip side, for Omaha, they cannot be flat-footed in this game. Just because you played really well against a Rapids team who play at the MLS level does not mean you can just overlook a game against the Kickers. And lo and behold, I'm sure that they've now felt that wake-up call rather quickly. Brandon Knapp down on the ground. Whistle sounded by our head official, John Motto. Darwin Espinal, I mentioned 9 goals last season, which led the team. 8 of those goals were scored outside of the box. And this one was right along the boundary of the 18-yard line. So we'll see if that gets diagnosed as an outside of the box score or not, but the point still stands. A shot ripped from distance, and that is just the kind of start that Darren Sawatsky, head man in charge of the Kickers, loves to see. Only coach left in USL League One that has coached every single year in this league. All but one of those seasons here with the Richmond Kickers, just 2019 with FC Tucson. Curling ball over the top, chested down. Not out of the woods yet. Took several efforts as looks like two players suffering at that collision. Lawrence Wotton squirming on the grass, and Dakota Barnathan clutching his left ankle right by his side. It's a lovely ball as Borzak tried to contort his body and put it towards the right-hand side. And then just an entanglement there between Wotton and Barnathan. Seems like Wotton got the worst of the situation here. 26-year-old Englishman. A lot of conversating taking place, but eventually Jan Filion, the goalkeeper for the Richmond Kickers, will most likely be the one to get things going here. A lot to be proud of for Union Omaha in that MLS match. Well, in that Open Cup match against an MLS team. Vincenzo Candela, really proud of his group, and he felt they really represented the hard-working mentality that the city of Omaha has. And he was like, look, obviously Colorado maintained a lot of possession in the middle of the field, but their one goal was off one of our very few mistakes we had in that game. And not to mention, on top of that, the team that the Rapids trotted out was a pretty strong unit. Sometimes you get some heavy rotation with those Major League Soccer sides when they know they're going up against a lower league team. But they had a lot of respect for the Owls as Wotton's back down on the grass again. Some just not quite right for the midfielder. And you're wondering if that's going to cue an early substitution for Vincenzo Candela. Strong lineup that the Rapids brought out, and it's a Rapids team that has been scoring at a pretty high clip in league play in the Major League Soccer side of things, and the Owls are pretty much able to mitigate any serious opportunities, only losing 1-0, and they had some great chances to find a goal themselves. In the second half, they pressed a little bit more, and it helped them create more opportunities. Talking about Union Omaha. Certainly the kind of game that can give you a lot of confidence as a team when you're able to play that well on the road against a big bad opponent. Red Army continues to drum and chant along. Always here in good numbers supporting the Kickers since the early 90s up until now. You're going to see many kit renditions there in the stands from the many years the team has played and the different unis they've dropped season by season. One thing you can guarantee anytime you see a game here at City Stadium, it's that you're going to see a lot of red and a lot of noise over in that left corner. So Wotton will walk off. That's Cole Jensen trying to keep himself on his toes and getting his third start of the season with the Owls, his second year with the club. Had a fantastic game against AV Alta a couple games back where he had 8 saves. Providing some good competition for the longtime Owl Rashid Nuhu. Of course, Nuhu got the start in the middle of the week. Jensen with the opportunities over each weekend, having played back at home against Madison last Saturday, and now, of course, getting the nod again today. Kirkland chasing this one. Orson rolling it back to his goalkeeper. Jamie Orson again getting his first professional start. Espinal running it forward. Ran into a couple of light blue jerseys and That's the end of that one. Cabral takes a clip and draws the foul. And although the result for the Kickers against Columbus Crew was a little bit more lopsided both in the final score and in the stats, there's still positives gameplay-wise from that game that Darren Sawatsky took away. Mentioning that, look, all three of our starting center backs are hurt, and yet we're the better team for 30 minutes against Columbus, and are taking away more positives from the evening than negatives. The USL on the CBS Sports Network wraps up the month of April with a Prince Tires USL Cup Group 5 matchup. Northeastern rivals Hartford Athletic and Rhode Island FC battle it out at 7 p.m. Eastern on April 25th. Catch all the action on the CBS Sports Network. I think you can learn so much too just from playing a team of a high quality like a Major League Soccer team, just because you know that they're going to test you and poke you in ways that maybe you haven't gotten tested yet in the early stages of this season, and you can learn about yourself and figure out ways that you can shore up defensively and sharpen offensively. I think one thing for both of these teams in particular, they had chances, especially in transition, to punish their opposition, and they just were not quite making decisions quick enough or sharp enough to punish their opposition, neither scoring in their respective games in the midweek. That's something you can take away and apply here in your league games for the rest of the season. That cross just well off target. Too much air under the service. Although these are positives you can take away from the game, don't get it twisted. Vincenzo Candela in particular mentioned that although they could be proud of some of the things that they did in that game, they are not satisfied as this one slips through. Brandon Knapp blockaded. Second effort walled off. First it was Knapp and then it was Borzak. But some heroic defending from the Kickers keeps it at 1-0. A sliding challenge from Dakota Barnathan denies the first effort. And then Marana was able to keep Borzak from breaking through. And now a corner kick, our first of the evening. Cabral will provide service from the left corner flag. Brazilian midfielder whipping it in, headed down, and claimed by Filion. The veteran goalkeeper, easy pickings for him. Mal's team that prides themselves in winning, and really that's the only standard in this business, said Vincenzo Candela to me. Mentioned that after the game against the Rapids that they were actually frustrated. Can't just be happy with a good performance because you still lost the game. And I know it's kind of harsh, but that's the way we operate. And that game showed that he's got a really strong group and he's going to hold his guys to that standard for the rest of this season. And they need to show some of that quality here. Down a goal early after Darwin Espinal scored his first rocket of the season. A lot of respect for the Owls coming into this game. For Darren Sawatsky, called Omaha a really talented group, and of course, pretty familiar with Vincenzo Candela, a player who, or a coach who used to play for Darren Sawatsky just a couple years ago in a Kickers uniform. Service ripped inside, caught by Jensen. To continue that thought, Candela was part of that 2022 team that won the Players' Shield for the Richmond Kickers. Their one trophy in USL League One play. What a team that was. Terzaghi, great form. Jonathan Bolaños is playing at an incredible level. You got guys just like Vincenzo Candela sprinkled into your roster too. You've got a pretty darn good squad. A talented Owl group, and Zawatsky said, and Vincenzo Candela is a feisty Italian who brings some of that energy to the group as well. They're going to want to press us and control the game. So far, it's been pretty even-handed. The Owls have had the better of this recent stretch, but the Kickers are the ones who got off to the good start. As Omaha come again. Filion able to parry that one out of bounds. So the Owls are going to get a corner kick. Not too far from the people we're looking at right now. They'll surely bear down on whoever provides the service over here, and it looks to be Gadiri. Strange to say this, but it's one of the coolest corners in USL League One. Gadiri sends in the ball, flicked along, and it trickles through. The Owls find their answer. Amidst all the traffic, Union Omaha find an equalizer off the corner kick. Let's see who this touched. Knapp is the first one on it, and it looks like Brett Coleman, the center back, will get his first goal of the season. He gets a touch right in front of Filion, redirects it to the left-hand side. It's wonderful first contact from Knapp to keep it carried along. And then the veteran from Omaha just needs to tap it away from the goalkeeper to get it through. 1-1 your scoreline. Coleman, 35 years old, lots of experience at the pro level. Came back to his hometown to play for the Owls last season and has been a fixture in this team ever since he got here. One of the 4 players who started on Tuesday and is starting again today. At this point, he knows how to take care of his body. Kickers trying to find a quick answer. Panholzer deflected out of bounds for a corner. Eric Panholzer, the German, one of the now 3 players who scored in league play this season for the Kickers. It was just him and Kirkland coming into this game, but Espinal has opened his account here in the first 22 minutes of the match. First corner of the day for the home side. Sorfert made contact, but it sails over top. Sam Layton making his way up. Fans watch the USL Championship in Spanish on 2DNA, the nation's leading Spanish language sports network. Go to uslchampionship.com for the complete USL TV listings. So 1-1 your scoreline. Well, that's a loose pass given right back to Richmond. Espinal collects it in the corner. And he could not get by his man. The Owls will try to spring something in the other direction. There's Borzak. One-on-one with Marana. I'll play it back to Gadiri. This is an Omaha side that does not need to hurt you in transition. They enjoy having the ball and getting you pressed against the wall in your own half. Play will continue. Pato Botello-Faz doesn't like any of his options going forward. And now he'll make himself an option. Botello-Faz lifts this one into the air. Marana gets his piece of it. So ejection there from the Richmond back line. Terrence Sawatsky emphatically giving some orders to his side. A Richmond team that Vincenzo Candela said that they cannot overlook. So they're gonna be a side that's hungry to change their league form, and they'll be looking to push forward with some dangerous players in transition. He wants to get in this situation here, Vincenzo Candela, get established in the attacking half, and ask questions of Richmond's shape. And that's not how they're going to want to do it. So he wants them to be solid with the ball, make that extra pass. Really bend this Richmond team until it snaps. Our goal coming off a corner kick so far in this game. The Kickers scoring in the opening moments of this match, just 6 minutes in. Layton drawing it up the pitch. Marana playing it to Kirkland, he's offside. Pen and pad are out for Vincenzo Candela. If you're a coach or a student of the game, and that doesn't just mean you've got the notes out when you're watching a game during the week, but even in the games you're coaching in. He told me that he learns something from every single game he watches or is a part of. Take away from every single match, and mentioned you have to be versatile as a coach. It can't just be one style or system, because if you do that, then the moment you get figured out, you're out of ideas. That's a lovely turn. Then it's poked away. Sam Layton getting just enough on that one so then his goalkeeper could get to the ball. Now you're going to get intensity from these two programs. Two teams that do not recruit in players who are faint of heart. Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL League One. From the grassroots to the pros, Select is there every step of the way. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. An environment fun for everybody. Don't have a Kickers jersey, just wear whatever soccer shirt you've got, whether it's Barcelona or a Costa Rica national team kit. Gotta rep the sport. Both of which are nice kits, by the way. I know anytime that I go to a function that is even somewhat related to the sport, I'm trying to wear one of my coolest kits that I've got in my arsenal, so then you can start conversations with people. It wasn't like a little dopamine hit of someone just saying, hey, nice kit. The more unique, the higher likelihood you get that chance and that opportunity. Here's Austin Amer from the left corner flag. Ripping it inside. Headed away by Cabral, but not out of the woods yet. Trying to be curled across. Espinal tried to crane that in. An unsuccessful endeavor at the end of the day. Quite the intended function of that booted ball. Hayden Anderson, the left back, will throw it in. Needs to get this ball in play. Gotta be careful about time wasting. That's when I'll roll back to Sasangha. A player who's really growing at the professional level now, his first year as a pro. Lisa Sangha, a guy who's getting up to speed, as I mentioned. It also, of course, was a little bit slow to catching up to speed in preseason due to practicing Ramadan, which obviously is quite the challenge as an athlete. So, major respect to someone who can even practice whilst doing that. But he's got a huge ceiling, according to Darren Sawatsky. He's a steadying force, got good feet. Now it's just about developing that brain speed at the pro game. Every time you make that jump, whether it be from one level of professional soccer to the next or going from college to pros in general, your decision making just has to get that much quicker because the players around you are recognizing moments quicker. Windows get tighter and shorter lived. And you gotta know when there are fires for you to put out as one of those holding midfielders who have to drift about and diagnose the situation. Orson. He's able to prevent a corner kick. Kirkland trying to plead his case that it went off the goal line, but it will be a deep throw. Well, hold on. I think the decision may have been changed. The initial signal was that it was a throw-in. But the kickers will actually get the better of the two scenarios, and Neil Seufert will try to rip in a service. Seufert. Hurling cross, headed back into the mixer. Jensen's there for it. From Council Bluffs, Iowa, Cole Jensen, 25 years old. Looking to really stake a claim to minutes throughout this season. Be curious to see who gets to start next weekend because it's not a league game next weekend. It's the Prinks Tires USL Cup. So one cup done, another gets started. That competition in its third year, second with the USL Championship being involved, and they'll be going up against a familiar foe in that competition. You need to stay tuned at halftime to see exactly who they're playing if you don't know already. That's another competition. It's a great chance for these USL League One teams to punch upward and really generate some buzz for players to make a name for themselves. Sam Layton does a really good job there, positioning himself so nicely against Borzak, drawing the contact. A couple of hop steps to make sure the ball was in front of him as opposed to the striker. It looks like both teams are going over to the sidelines. Pretty warm day in Richmond today. Around 84, 85 degrees, 30% humidity. And it's only April, everybody. I mean, this is just an omen of things to come, as both sides will get a chance to hydrate here and stay at a healthy level of water in their systems. But it also acts as a coach's corner for both of these two teams, and for any team for that matter, when you go into a hydration break. Some things to be happy about, some things to be upset about if you're either side, of course. Both with a goal scored and conceded. It's a really positive start to this game for the Kickers. Some moments early on in the affair, and then they're awarded with the goal from Espinal, which was a great goal. And then the Owls started creeping back into the game, holding possession in the attacking half, and eventually earning themselves a corner kick that they would score off of. The Owls up to now around 66 to 67% possession. Although you imagine some of the instructions from each coach is different, one thing that isn't different between the two is the delivery of said instructions, both bringing some fire. See the conversating happening here with Vincenzo Candela and his coaching staff. I'm now talking to Ollie Richardson, his first year with the program, having coached at Grimsby Town, Phoenix Rising, the Houston Dash, so he's got a little bit of a sampler from different locations and different leagues. Now working here with Candela, whom is very experienced in USL League One, both as a player and as a coach. This being his third year coaching in the league. 1 full year as an assistant. Last year, half as an assistant and then an interim coach, and then this year as the designated man in charge, officially. Ain't that a good sign? We're back playing. A ball has been kicked. Morana couldn't get it through the two bodies in his way. It's rushing possession here for the Richmond Kickers. It's nothing easy, as Fillion will have to keep this in bounds. Now he's in the corner. Can't get that one wrong. And a handball is called by our head, or by not our head official, but by our AR over there. Pato Batelafaz, the guilty man. Soccer season is here, and SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of the USL. Get all your USL tickets and more from the #1 ticketing site, SeatGeek, your ticket to great seats. On Fillion, Canadian, blasting it up the pitch. And a chance for his teammates to really collect that one near the attacking third, but it doesn't go their way. Gidiri with a lot of real estate, flips it back to Borzak. He dances by Morana. And the Owls will get to work. Cameron Lawrence getting his third start in league play this season. Patello Faz to Cabral, who rotates it out to Borzak. Borzak again from Gidiri. Lifting cross. Gomez was fishing for the dynamic volley. Didn't quite reach him. Pressure mounting once again for Los Bujos. Starting to pepper in crosses here on the home team. A promising spell for the visitors. Pressure from Kirkland bears some fruit for Richmond. Tarek Panholzer running in. Panholzer swerves outside. Cutting pass across, and Brandon Knapp was there every step of the way. Not an easy guy to get by. Cabral goes down, and it'll be a free kick for the Owls. Challenge there from Sasangha. I think Cabral there, although maybe in some instances, or some opinions I should say, it looked like he went down easy, but I think it was more of a situation where he dodged the worst of the contact in what was a fouling effort, then loses his balance and goes down without taking too much damage. As we eclipse 40 minutes in this one, 1 goal apiece. Real corner banger from Darwin Espinal, and by that I mean he picked out a corner, a shot right around the perimeter, and then from a corner kick, the Owls found a response about 15 minutes later. They might be onto something more here, if not for the flag. Kickers really surviving at the moment after taking the lead early in this game. A lot of dangerous possession for the Owls. I'll be curious to see in the second half how much legs do some of these players for the Kickers have on them, because they did need to pull some of their veteran players in the second half, just due to not having anything left in the tank against Columbus Crew. And that game was on Wednesday, and a lot of these guys are starting again. The coaching staff gonna need to have the youngsters on the bench ready to go. And it's not just Darren Sawatsky, but his entire staff, including Brian Ownby, whom is a familiar name for USL fans. Such a exciting player offensively for Lou City. Foul being given here. Free kick opportunity for Union Omaha. Hayden Anderson, the assailant. Yes. Running his way through Cameron Lawrence. Anderson, 25 years old, from Greenville, South Carolina. It's also where he started his pro career with the Greenville Triumph, and now in his second year with the Kickers. Gadiri provided the service on the corner kick that resulted in a goal. And that one hits the wall. Borzak nods it along. Tapped back to Borzak, who is not ready for it by Pato Botello-Faz. Cabral. Rolls this one back to Orson. Najee Marana has been a tough guy to get through, and they're going to tag him with a foul here. Pato Botello-Faz still on the ground after that interaction. Marana, the Nigerian right back. Another one of those archetypes that Darren Sawatsky really looks for. If one of them is young local talent, another archetype is guys with chips on their shoulders who are looking for a second chance. Marana is definitely in that latter category. As we get another set piece here for the Owls. Cabral curls it in. That one couldn't be redirected towards goal. Panholzer launches it up the pitch. Some pressure there from Espinal. Causes some hurried decision-making, but effective decision-making nonetheless. Panholzer with the pressure. Kadiri gets back up on his feet quickly. Some good effort here from Richmond as this one served inside for Kirkland. Good shielding there from Brandon Knapp, who was covering for his back line there. Gets between Kirkland and the ball, allowing Jensen to get to it first. Sangha with a knifing ball to Morana. And that one just too far ahead of Panholzer. As we see 6 more minutes tacked on and a couple players go down, 2 goals, and then of course a hydration break.
All right, Richmond, get on your feet because it's time to stand up for Richmond.
45 minutes through, both sides with a goal. Got 2 options for yourself as halftime approaches here. You can stick around and watch the halftime content we've got for you here on ESPN+. Well, we've also got another game that's about to kick off in USL League One that you can view while you're waiting for this one to get going once again. One Knoxville and the Charlotte Independence. Set to kick off in about, or at least the show's about to get started in about 8 minutes. As this one deflects in the air and claimed by Jensen. The wide ball looking for Panholzer. And it was played up the middle. Not without some disruption though. Like I was saying, though, one Knoxville, Charlotte Independence. That should be a fun matchup. Over at one Knoxville's home turf. Both those teams also getting to play in the midweek in the U.S. Open Cup. Less than favorable result for the Charlotte Independence in the first ever Charlotte Derby against Charlotte FC. Go down a man, and then the wheels kind of fell off in that one for them. Meanwhile, one Knoxville, of course, very different story. What a dramatic match against DC United on the road, and they were able to pull out the victory in penalty kicks. The reigning USL League One champions winning some financial reward for being the 3rd division team to make it the furthest in the competition, and they did it in quite exciting style. Your stars up top, Babacar Dieng and Denis Kurchenkov, both having their say in that match. So they get to be the ones to carry the League One flag into the next round. And they'll play the Columbus Crew, the side that were able to knock off the Kickers. So perhaps a revenge on behalf of the Richmond side here for one Knoxville. On top of course, that game kicking off 2 hours from now on Galazzo. Boise will play Westchester. Still in the year where we're trying to make sense of teams, and I think Westchester and Boise are 2 sides that we're still trying to get the clear picture of. Side just in its 2nd year as a pro club, and of course AC Boise in their inaugural season. Morana takes the shirt tug from Borzak, and It's a professional foul, and it doesn't look like he's going to get a booking for it. So you take that every day if you're Dylan Borzak. Very intentional from the striker / winger. And now a set piece opportunity with about 2 more minutes to go here in the first half of action. Niels Seufert, the German midfielder, looking to place in a nice ball here. Seufert, a lot of air under it. And too much grabbing from Marana on the backside. In some ways acting as the backboard of that set piece. He's a big dude at the right back spot, Majid Marana. Panholzer. Hopeful pass up the pitch, takes a deflection, and Jensen will be able to scoop it up. With 1 more minute, plus whatever else our head official opts to roll with here. Persistent here from Panholzer, as Amer rolls it out to the left-hand side for Espinal. Perhaps one more chance here. Sasangha rolls it out to the left. Trying to craft something here in the dying moments. Not on the same page there, and that will be the final transaction in this game, at least for the first 45 minutes of action. 1-1 your scoreline after 1 half. First it was Espinal with the banger, and then off a corner kick, Union Omaha find their response from the veteran center back Brett Coleman, who taps it home after it was flicked on nicely by Brandon Knapp. And so it's all even going into the break. With that in mind, we will take a break with the players here, but not for as long, because we've got some halftime content coming your way on ESPN+. 1-1 your scoreline up to this point. Grab a quick swig of water, and we'll see you after this.
Health. Suddenly that word seems more important these days, as it's consumed all aspects of our lives and made our universes feel smaller than ever. But at Bon Secours, your health has always been our top priority, and we're staying as committed as always to personalizing the right care for you. Because whether here or from home, we believe your health care should always revolve around you. Bon Secours, primary care for the universe of you. Visit bonsecours.com/primary care to connect with the provider today.
Las abogadas nos sentimos orgullosas de ser parte de la comunidad latina de Richmond. Y cuando las familias de nuestra comunidad enfrentan problemas migratorios, las escuchamos para ofrecerles justicia. Somos abogadas que defendemos la dignidad humana. Si usted sueña con una vida familiar libre de preocupaciones migratorias, podemos ayudarle. Contáctenos hoy mismo para agendar una evaluación de su caso. Las abogadas, sus abogadas de migración.
Las abogadas, sus abogadas de inmigración.
And we're back here at City Stadium, halftime between the Kickers and the Owls. 1-1 your scoreline after 45-plus minutes here. Mark Schoenster with you for all of the halftime fun as we wait for the soccer game fun to kick back up once again. So, since we're here, let's do some reminiscing, starting off with Team of the Week last weekend. Long gone are the days in USL League One where you can win a match and guarantee yourself a spot on Team of the Week, because Union Omaha won their game last week against Forward Madison and they have not a player to be seen here on the list. So you've really got to put up a good performance now if you're going to get in this formation. And talking about good performances, let's take a look at the goal of the week and the save of the week from week 6.
On the other side of things, there is no substitute for a competitive match. This is an excellent opportunity for the visitors early on, and they score inside the first minute. Fort Wayne FC's fastest goal in club history started by a hunger for the ball. 3 players in the vicinity, and Tague Healy, the one that takes it away. A finish from outside the box. He strikes it into the bottom corner. 44 seconds in, Fort Wayne up in Chattanooga, and that is your select USL League One goal of the week.
Minnesota the other direction. Sensi again. He has to step on Powder. Cuts it back brilliantly, and it's saved by Hammersley. Wow, that is a good save from Hammersley. That is great reflexes.
This one slipped through nicely for Williams! Shining once again for Hartford.
Quizera settles. Dodea Quizera!
Pain doesn't care who you are or why you hurt, but pain can be mastered if you know the way. Fight back with Tiger Balm's legendary herbal power. Trusted for over 100 years, our proven blend of camphor, menthol, and essential oils tames pain with the strength and speed of the tiger, so that you can rise above pain and get back to living. This is the way of the tiger.
Today, we accomplished nothing. I mean it, not a thing. And it was kinda everything.
This spring, stay 3 nights and get a $50 Best Western gift card.
We choose Impossible Pups because of their enrichment activities and the fun photos they send home every day.
We choose Impossible Pups because Kendall is excited when I drop her off and she's excited when I pick her up.
My favorite part about working at Impossible Pups is that the staff here feels like family.
It's seeing new dogs come in and build long-lasting confidence.
At Impossible Pups, your dog isn't just staying at a kennel, they're staying at their home away from home.
Halftime continues along here on ESPN+. 1-1 your scoreline after 51 minutes to be precise in the first half of action between the Kickers and the Owls. Espinal scoring and Coleman finding an answer for the visitors. Mark Schoenster with you here on the broadcast. We got another whole half to take care of here, but let's take a peek at what these teams have got coming on after the fact. The Richmond Kickers, 2 more games in this home stretch here, including next week in the Prince Tires USL Cup against the Charlotte Independents. Now, Richmond will have to dance with some USL Championship teams at some point, but starting off with the USL League One team, pretty important because if you can get 3 points against a team in your league, that puts you in a better position to really fight with those USL Championship teams as this competition wears along. And then, of course, Westchester and Greenville will be some good matches for them to try to pick up some points from back in league play. Now, to pivot over to the Owls, talking about USL Cup games, they also have an Indy team, but not the Independents. We're talking about Indy 11, and it's a rematch of the US Open Cup game that they were the winners of course, and were able to advance on to play the Rapids. So a cool little matchup there to see if Indy 11 can get some revenge as the higher division side, or if the Owls can make it 2 times in a row they get a result from the game. And then they'll also play the Greenville Triumph in an upcoming slate before also having a home game against Portland Hearts of Pine, which should be a really fun game as well. So a lot of good action coming up as we're really in the run of the season now in USL League One for both of these two teams. And speaking of the league, here are some of the games that are coming up today, and I guess technically just started. Knoxville and Charlotte Independence, mentioned it in the first half, just kicking off here, and then we've got another game tonight with 2 more tomorrow in the afternoon slots. Recommend you checking in for that Cosmos game against the Madison, or Fort Madison side of the Mingos. There's the word I was looking for. The Cosmos and the Mingos, as New York Cosmos trying to make it 3 straight wins, all of which at home. Meanwhile, Fort Madison trying to see if they can be one of the contenders this season. Have already knocked off some of the best that the league has to offer. With that in mind, we're now going to get ready to take one step closer to the second half of action. We're going to step aside and take a look at the halftime update, and then we'll have the second half ready to go for you here on ESPN+.
It is halftime in League One. Time for the headlines around the league. We hope you're enjoying your match so far. I'm Dan Lucas inside the USL studio. How about that major cup set in the 3rd round of the US Open Cup? One Knoxville played to a 3-3 draw against DC United, then grabbed the win in penalty kicks. One Knoxville faced Columbus Crew in the round of 16. Championship clubs Louisville City and Colorado Springs also advanced with upset victories in round 3. Another first-year club picked up its first ever victory in week 6. Tig Healy scored just 44 seconds into Fort Wayne's match against Chattanooga Red Wolves. That's all the visitors needed in a 1-0 victory. 4 of the 5 League One expansion teams now have a win this season. USL's young core players continue to shine in the spotlight. Today we look at Vigo Ortiz of Charlotte Independence. Ortiz has scored twice in Charlotte's 3 League One matches. He also scored a goal in the US Open Cup last month. Ortiz played the entire 90 minutes in Charlotte's match against the Cosmos. The USL Championship has a pair of upcoming national broadcasts. Next Saturday, it's El Clamico in the Prinks Tires USL Cup, Hartford Athletic and Rhode Island. Then on Saturday, May 2nd, Detroit City hosts Louisville City. Both matches are on CBS Sports Network. Those are your League One headlines. We're getting closer to the second half. Let's get you back out to your match.
SeatGeek is the ticketing app for fans like the high five strangers got, game-winning interception, first down, just a nice solid tackle. If you're in arm's length, you will be swapping skin with this extrovert. You see, he knows SeatGeek got him a great deal on tickets, so he can focus on what he does best, smacking palms. SeatGeek handles the tickets to sports, concerts, and more, so fans can fan.
Hey, I'm Watson. Welcome to the Confident Barber Show. Come on in.
This is our brand. It's chips. Subs, of course. Soda. This, that, sweets, smiling faces, green, more green, ice cream. But first, veggies. How about a meal for one? Or hummus is fun. Time for cleanup? Done. All this goodness. Your life, your brand. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Bustling here in Richmond, Virginia, as the second half is closer and closer to getting started here. I welcome you in on the broadcast. Mark Schoenster with you. Let's take a peek at the first half highlights fresh off the press. Let's catch you up on all the action in case you missed it. Or if you were here, who doesn't love a refresher? Especially when you get to watch a banger goal like this. Darwin Espinal. He knows how to score from distance, but this one's ambitious. From the right-hand side, picking out the left corner. Two defenders closing in on him from either direction. Doesn't matter. Let that one fly, Darwin. Meanwhile, on the other side, the Owls would then start to find their answers offensively, including this opportunity from Brandon Knapp that was denied. Fell to Borzak, denied a second time. Good defending there from the kickers, but the flurry would continue for Union Omaha as they continue to generate opportunities. Jan Filion knocking that shot from Pato Patella falls away, and although danger was averted for a moment, it would be recaptured here by the Owls as Brandon Knapp flips it along nicely to Brett Coleman. He just needs to poke it away from the goalkeeper, the center back, and he drags it nicely, keeping it away from the guy in the green shirt and equalizing to make it 1-1. As we look at the numbers, Union Omaha, after that early goal from the kickers, were the ones who had more of the control of the game. Obviously, you can see that in the possession and the shots and shots on target. There was one or two moments where the kickers had a chance to find a counterattack opportunity, and it just wasn't quite clicking in one degree or another, whether it be a pass that was just lacking some accuracy or a decision being made too slowly by one of those attacking players. They'll need to be sharper in that regard as this second half continues, and kind of circles back to our key to the game for the kickers, which is that they need to load that trap and be ready to spring and attack in the other direction, because this is an Owls team that's pretty aggressive and likes to get numbers forward. And we're going to get a substitution, at least one, for Union Omaha. It does look like it will be two of them. Two pretty big substitutions, too. So, the first one is Samuel Owusu, who has already scored 4 goals this season as a center back for Union Omaha. He'll be coming on for the other goal scorer, Brett Coleman, who is also a center back. So, interesting switch there. Meanwhile, former Richmond kicker Adrian Billhart subbing on for Lawrence Wotton, who picked up some knocks in that first half. Back on his, or what was his home field just last season. Billhart playing for the Kickers for 2 years. Scored 8 goals and 3 assists during his stretch with the team. Played 39 matches with the club over the 2 seasons. Spent some time, or at least missed some time with injury, but was an effective player when he was playing. Player down early here for the Kickers. Our head official, John Motto, trying to clean up the situation as Austin Amer is slowly getting back up onto his feet. Those substitutions brought to you by Publix as this ball is whipped inside. The Kickers will keep possession. They'll try to attack from the left-hand side. Amer, second service. Knocked away by Owusu. So 2 changes for Vincenzo Candela. Same lineup for the Kickers to start off this second half of action. Mentioned it when we looked at their starting lineup. A lot of guys that has some knocks here in the early stages of the season, and so on one hand, you don't have the options that maybe you're hoping for on the bench. But secondly, some of these guys, not sure if they're 90 minutes fit, especially when they had to play on Wednesday against Columbus Crew. And in those games, guys like Leighton and Seufert did have to get pulled after around 60-ish minutes. Patella Faz, excuse me, that's Gomez who lets it fly. Occupying that number 9 spot in that occasion. Turning, letting it fly, and couldn't put it on frame. Samuel Owusu, though, subbing into the game, has been quite the offensive piece despite being a center back. He's a player that has the keys to run up the pitch and get involved offensively, and Vincenzo Candela not only is okay with it, but he's asking for it. Essentially, if he's got the ball and he sees space in front of him, he is being challenged to take it, and they want him to. They've got enough fluidity and rotation as a team that they won't be left exposed behind. A guy like Cabral or Knapp will recognize the situation and sort of plug in his place, and he can produce as a passer and as a finisher, as he's proven this season, especially on the finishing side of things. I already said it. A goal in league play, 3 goals in the Open Cup. And here he is right now, venturing forward a little bit as he now launches it down the pitch and finds Billhart. Adrian Billhart. Oh, he gets his man to slip. Billhart shoots! Blocked by his former teammate, Dakota Barnathan. Adrian Billhart, last time he played here in this stadium, quite a good day against Forward Madison, their Penny Derby rivals. 1 goal, 2 assists, and a 5-1 thrashing. And he takes a chunk there. Rough challenge from Darwin Espinal, the goal scorer. Another guy who was on his team last year. His first yellow card of the season. Adrian Billhart helping Richmond, whom didn't have the most positive year in 2025, ended on a high note. It's always good when you can have a good smacking of your rivals to close off the season. And now Richmond will be hoping he doesn't have as productive an evening this go around. Lawrence inside, and Billhart will drag it back to Owusu, who will now be paired with Jamie Orson. Espinal playing it up ahead. Carried to the right-hand side for Panholzer. Bit of a wild sliding challenge from Jamie Orson, but it gets the job done. Had some limbs flying around as he did so, but hey, doesn't have to look pretty, just has to be effective. The Owls settling in once again here in the second half. Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access on Tuesday nights. Plus hear live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app. Lawrence dances by Espinal and then loses his footing. Lawrence wiping out all on his own. So there's going to be a handball situation here, as now he's going to get a talking to from John Motto. Looks like it's a cordial conversation. Not always the case for a head official and a player who's just been called for something. Always good when you can have a pleasant conversation with the referee. You still have your cool head and you don't let your temper flare. Marana settles it down nicely. And he tried to keep it in bounds, but unsuccessful. Majid Marana, a guy who didn't play pro last season, was hopping around amateur clubs, and that's what can happen to a player when you go into a pro season with an injury already, which is the situation Marana was in during last offseason. It's really hard for a pro club to commit to signing a guy who's hurt at the time and doesn't even have the chance to go into a trial and prove himself. So he played with some amateur sides, found his way to Techie FC in Columbia, South Carolina, where he was able to play against the Richmond Kickers in a scrimmage during the mid to late portions of the regular season in USL League One, and he played well, and that's exactly what Techie Football Collective is trying to do. Cross lifted in by Marana. Ball's down to the right-hand side. Shot skipping towards goal, but off target. Hayden Anderson has scored bangers in the past. That one, though, didn't quite have the shape he was looking for. To put a bow on the topic about Techie FC, really needed program in the modern age of footballing here in the United States. Their main goal is to help guys who are sort of stuck between professional gigs or are losing minutes at the college game due to transfers. Is still down on the ground here is Cabral. Dakota Barnathan pleading his case about how he jumped into that collision, and John Motto had a different interpretation of the situation. Cabral, a player whom has never struggled to find a gig somewhere, such a talented player and an integral part of the field. Here's a look at that collision here. Well, all right. Dakota Barnathan arguing that Sasangha goes straight up. That replay seems to tell a different story. Two more changes in the wings. You can see Diego Gutierrez preparing to sub into the match. He'll be taking the place of Aaron Gomez. That now confirmed by our fourth official. Meanwhile, Owen O'Malley readying his way on as the fourth official beep boop beeps his electric board and signals that Amer will be coming off and Owen O'Malley will sub on. These subs are brought to you by Publix. Very apt sponsorship. Subs and Publix go hand in hand very nicely. Love a good chicken tender sub.
Leaving the match, number 18, Austin Amer.
Yeah, tossed in some buffalo sauce. Talking some shop here. Take notes. So O'Malley in, along with Gutierrez, two players who will bring some offensive bite to this game. Orson. Rolled over to his left-hand side. Gadiri. Some interplay with him. Now an opportunity for Richmond. Rolled over to the left-hand side. Espinal lines up, and it dings off the right post. It falls inside and smashed home. Tarek Panholzer cleans it up. It gives Richmond the lead. And to the corner they go. The Kickers have matched their season goal tally in just 60 minutes. Espinal does well there on that shot. It was just a fraction off for being a goal for him, but Panholzer is persistent. Takes a fun bounce off the post, spinning up into the air, and Tarek Panholzer, the German from Flensburg, collects his second of the season. Coming into this game, Richmond had 2 goals scored, which was the worst in the league. And that's in 4 matches, mind you. They have now scored 2 in this game and have the lead once again against the Owls. And look, there's still about 30 minutes of play to go in this game, but if nothing else, the Kickers can take away from this one that they're scoring some goals here, and you can build off of that. And are they hungry for another? Something about this series too, Richmond always put up a good show against the Owls. Swept the series last year, winning 1-0 at home a little over a year ago, and then in a wild game winning 4-3 at Warner Park back in June. Of course, those games both happening before Vincenzo Candela took over as the interim head coach. But this spans just more than last season. Union Omaha has never won at City Stadium. Can they fight a response? Bill Hart cutting inside, blocked away. Trying to find Kirkland there was Dakota Barnathan. So pep in the step for the Kickers here. It was that same energy that was able to produce them with the goal-scoring opportunity that they took advantage of. And they're continuing to maintain that energy here. Panholzer, the goal scorer, has it tackled away from him by Gadiri. There'll be a throw in for Marana. Right back out of play. eFootball is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball is free to play. Download now. Kadiri's in the corner, and he's pushed over by Kirkland. Classic business from a defender as Josh Kirkland beckons the crowd to bring more support. Trying to get their first win in league play this season. Espinal slides it in for Kirkland. He turns. Kirkland has it poked out of his clutches. And now Bill Hart. Well done there by Sasanga. Not only clipping it to a teammate, but avoiding contact altogether. Quick throw into Kirkland. He's in the corner against Owusu. That's a tough ask for the striker. Owusu. To apply a push, and then the cross goes to nobody in particular in the middle. That's, well, the space that Kirkland would usually be occupying if he was not the one supplying the cross. So now, how do the visitors answer? 4 straight wins in USL League One, and then an impressive game against Colorado Rapids in the midweek, an MLS side down a goal against the Richmond Kickers, a team that has not won yet in league play this season, as another change is executed. Yunus Budati subbing on for Cameron Lawrence. Substitution presented by Publix. That's some extra firepower. Budati, a player that Vincenzo Candela knows what he's going to get out of him every single game. Calls him a complete fullback, which could be a rare find, especially at this level. And here he is now. He'll display some of his skill set. I can almost guarantee it because they love getting the ball to him. He's also very good defensively. Maybe something that's a little overlooked given his ability to rush down that right-hand side. He's got such an engine, Budati. Ready to take a man one-on-one or execute that overlapping run and involve himself in the offense, and he's got the technical ability to make that interior pass. It's a tough ask to fill into that right back spot if you're playing with the Owls, because it was Dion Akoff who was in that spot previously, and what an explosive player he is. And Budati brings a little bit of a different profile, but you still see the work. And I mean, look, I think the transition has been very nice for the Owls in that spot. Budati has been a wonderful addition to this team as he rushes to the ball now. Uh-oh, bad pass. Kirkland blocked away by Cole Jensen there. Bit of a commentator's jinx. Yunus Budati heaping him with praise, and then that pass going back to the goalkeeper. Right in the lane of the striker to step into. So a corner kick for the Kickers. Neil Seufert, once again, be the one under the delivery. Headed back in centrally, Marana clips it, and it's ultimately easy for Cole Jensen, who's hugging his near post. Darren Sawatsky, once again, always involved in the game, giving his adjustments. Both him and Vincenzo Candela, former players, so you know that they've got that side of things, the energy, the communication down pat, having already played and understanding what it means to be a player out there on the pitch. I think that's so valuable too as a coach. Like, obviously you don't need to be a former player to be a good coach, but there is a level of empathy that just comes with being a former player, that you understand all the different situations a professional can be in. Let's take a peek at this collision again as hit to the face for Borzak over here. That is not why play stopped. It was for this collision right here as Espinal went to the ground. So two different players taking some damage as Borzak looks to be all right. Maybe got hit in the eye. See a little bit of a squint from his left eye there. Conversation here between Brian Ownby and Darren Sawatsky. First year as a coach, Brian Ownby brings some Southern drawl to the coaching staff. Apparently he taught Darren Sawatsky how to properly say Louisville. I know when I was younger I referred to them as Louisville, and that is incorrect. That is not how you say it. Leighton interjecting, lunging header to keep possession going. Panholzer bring it over to the right-hand side for Seufert. Stepping inside now. Ripping effort, deflected away. Owen O'Malley the one tearing it forward. Some frenetic passing here, and the pressure nearly paying off for the Owls, but Leighton able to step into it. Budati rolling it up ahead for Bilhart. And out it goes for the Owls. Quickly take it. Jamie Orson. Combined for Knapp, donning the captain's armband today. It's offensively gotten a bit stifled for the Owls. Richmond starting to dictate more of this game. The USL Championship and League One are on CBS Sports and ESPN platforms all season long. Catch live matches and expert analysis every day on the CBS Sports Golazo Network and ESPN+. Go to USLChampionship.com or USLLeague1.com for the complete USL TV listings. It is a gorgeous day in Richmond, Virginia. Where else would you want to be right now in the city than watching some footy? Kickers right now trying to claim their first win of the season up against what seems to be one of the early contenders in USL League One this season, Union Omaha. A lot of game left to be played, but the vibes are high for the home side currently. Jamie Orson. Well, he chucked that one back in quickly. The ref did not like that. And as a response, Vincenzo Candela doesn't like that. Two substitutions preparing for Darren Sawatsky here. Spot Luca Dorado along with Landon Johnson. Two offensive changes, which would suggest that the pedal is staying floored here for Richmond. These substitutions presented by Publix. Dorado and Johnson in, Kirkland and Seufert out. Landon Johnson, one of the young players that have had the chance to develop here under Darren Sawatsky and play professional as a teenager. He's 19 years old, and yet this is his 4th year playing with the Kickers. So talk about a balance between being a young guy, but also an experienced player who's spent a good chunk of his entire lifetime playing with the Richmond Kickers. I mean, what, 4 years playing professional at 19 years old? I mean, that's got to be around 20% of your life, roughly. That's me crunching it in my head, so those of you at home can break out the calculator and get the perfect number if you so desire. It's such a critical part, though, of what the Kickers are doing. They have these young players that they pair up with these other guys who are either older, more experienced players at the pro level, or guys like Majid Marana who are pros with experience who are also trying to prove themselves and get a second chance as another substitution is taking place here. Ryan Jiba subbing on, taking the place of Dylan Borzak. The substitution presented by Publix.
Entering the match, number 27, Ryan Jiba, and leaving the match, number
A couple of years ago, not that long ago, the only way that a young academy player could get experience playing outside of playing with the pro team was playing in developmental academy games. So that's just up against guys your age, or maybe if you jump up an age group, guys a year or two older, but nobody who has pro experience. you essentially just have to get thrown into the fire at either the USL or the MLS level. But you add in USL League One, you add in these teams that their objective is to help develop you and get you ready for the pro game. It's so invaluable to play against older guys, pros who know what they're doing. You can develop a lot of your skill sets in the academy, but then you need the final pieces put together with pro experience. And it's hard to break in with some of these higher quality teams at the MLS level as Bill Hart lets it fly and it sails over top. Something that Darren Sawatsky is a huge believer in. This is a guy who's been in the youth development side of things for a long time, having spent his time in Seattle. He was part of the group that helped DeAndre Yedlin become a player who not only developed, but then played for the Sounders, went abroad, represented the U.S. men's national team. He's seen a player make that climb, and now he's developed a system with the Richmond Kickers to do similar things. And Griffin Garnett, earlier this year, being shipped off and being ready to play in higher leagues and do bigger things. It's that same kind of a development that any player is hoping for, not just teenagers. Union Omaha, of course, also has a lot of guys who are looking to prove themselves and to move to better places, whether it be up in the USL Championship, abroad in the MLS. Some of these guys have played in the USL Championship and weren't able to get another contract in the USL Championship, and now they got a little bit of that bite, hoping that they can show all of those teams wrong, going, hey, you're missing out on this, and you can perform in Union Omaha, then perhaps turn some heads at some of those larger clubs, on top of course, representing a community and going to win a championship, as opposed to maybe playing for a team that doesn't quite have the strong support that a team like, or like a community like Richmond or Omaha have. Yellow card going to be issued here, given to Luca Dorado just moments after subbing into this game. Knocking over Gabriel Cabral. Always putting himself in spots where he can get knocked over like that because he's recognizing good situations to be in. Of course, that means he'll take a beating for it, but with a grimace, Cabral certainly will take the free kick, especially if it results in a booking. Jiba doing well there to shield off any aggressors and keep possession with the Owls as a player goes to the grass for the Kickers. Perhaps cramps or something of the kind as Bill Hart's in the other direction. Adrian Bill Hart trying to cut it across, still in bounds. Knapp and Barnathan, those are two guys who are not scared of getting their hands dirty. Doing battle there, and now Guidiri rolls it over to the left-hand side. Gutierrez. Not a lot of wiggle room there going forward. Chopping service. Headed back over to the left-hand side. Couldn't be flicked along. Cleared away by the Kickers. Budati with some room to operate. He'll cut it back inside. Knapp sends it to his left for Gutierrez. Finds Jiba. Gutierrez again, trying to slip it to Ryan Jiba. He picks up the loose parts. Wow. That one had some smoke sizzling off of it. Ryan Jiba, another one of those guys who could maybe put himself in the category as a player looking to prove himself to the larger clubs in this country, having spent a year with Minnesota United. And now back with the Owls after that fact. They need a change here as G. Marana really ailing there on the right-hand side. He's one of the guys who started in that game against Columbus Crew on the midweek. Still early on in the season, so it's one thing to be match fit for 90. It's another thing to be match fit for 90 in the midweek, and then again on the weekend. He played about 72 minutes against Columbus Crew, and looks like it's around 70 minutes maybe where his limit is. Marana walk over to the sideline now. We'll see if he gets waved back on or if he's going to be subbed off. It looks like the Kickers are preparing some substitutions. G. Marana from Ibadan, Nigeria. Looks like his evening is over. Now who will take his place? We're still waiting confirmation on. Looks like Beckett Howell will be the man to sub on for Marana. So,
your attention please, public substitutions in the 79th
looks like it'll be Howell and Daniel Moore subbing into the game now. It did say Howell for Panholzer there, though. I imagine it'll be more like Daniel Moore for Panholzer and Beckett Howell for Majid Marana.
Number 34, Beckett Howell.
These substitutions presented by Publix.
And number 99, Daniel Moore.
We'll see how that changes Richmond's shape on the right-hand side as Beckett Howell coming in from Marana, the right back. Sometimes Richmond like to play in more of a 3-back as opposed to a 4-back, and they certainly now have the bodies out there to do that. So Beckett Howell playing further up right now, so perhaps he's getting the chance to play more in the midfield. Curling ball sent across, knotted up by Moore. Moore is a fullback by nature, so perhaps he's plugging in for Marana, and they're letting Howell do some operating up the field. Howell, another one of those youngsters who's spent several years on an academy contract and then turning pro with the Richmond Kickers. Another proof of the model that they've got in place here.
Darwin Espinal, number 19, still in the match. Leaving the match, number 11, Tarek Panholzer.
Sammy Gadiri will provide from this corner, from this set piece close to the corner. 28 years old from Boca Raton, Florida. Gadiri curling it in, and immediately the whistle sounds. John Motto. It's been sharp today. His eyes have been locked in where they've needed to be up to this point. I think he's officiated a pretty good game. And now another booking. Wait for confirmation on who that was brandished to. Still waiting on confirmation on that. Once we find out, we will immediately let you know. So the yellow card was given to Jan Filion, so perhaps some time wasting taking here from the man from Ottawa. It's his first card of the season. As this rolls out for a goal kick. At Bellevue University, your success is the only thing that matters. That's why they offer education that's designed to help you achieve your next goal. Find out more at degrees.bellevue.edu/goals. Well, it's actually going to be a corner kick here, so the Kickers once again have a set piece opportunity here. Momentum swaying, or at least possession swaying in Omaha's favor recently. The Kickers trying to claim it back. That's knotted away with ease. Moore sails it down to the left-hand side. O'Malley took a trip. I wonder if he lost his balance a little bit more there, if there's a valid appeal for a penalty. Bill Hart switches it over to the left-hand side. Botello Foz up to Jiba. He takes a bump from Dorado. And that'll roll out harmlessly for a goal kick. Let's look at that again. So O'Malley right here. That would have been a cruel penalty to give up if he did go to the ground. And that's the lovely thing about having replays. And that's a very critical thing to remember that referees don't have. They only have the initial impression to make these calls and decisions. And it's always worth noting that that is a really tough job. Beckett Howell is playing up the field here. Making a run forward. Daniel Moore will scat to the outside. Moore picking up some speed. Feeds it to his fellow substitute. Howell dancing in the corner now. Cross didn't go very far. Five more minutes plus stoppage time to go. Richmond took an early lead in this game. Darwin Espinal scoring a banger. The Owls responded about 15 minutes later on a corner kick. And then in a transition moment here in the second half, the Kickers were able to take the lead once again, trying to get their first win of the season. The Owls poking and prodding to find an equalizer. And they may be onto something here. Bill Hart to the middle. Botello Foz! It flares wide. Pato Botello Foz already has 2 goals in league play this season. He can't find his third. Bill Hart, always so adaptable. First look to be the man to take the shot. Got a little bit away from him. He was able to lunge it to a teammate in a good spot right around the penalty marker. And Pato Botello Foz couldn't clean it up. And so the tension continues to build here. After losing their season opener on the road against Spokane, which is not really something you can really wave your finger at. That's a pretty tough team. The Owls have rattled off 4 straight league wins as this one trickles through. No light blue jersey to receive that pass. Yeah, after losing to Spokane to start the year, the Owls rattled off 6 straight wins across competitions, 4 in USL League One, 2 in the Open Cup. Knapp running forward, had it jarred away from him. O'Malley sliding up the pitch. Orson with the challenge and down on the ground now on the follow through. Some tensions are boiling over here. Jamie Orson was the one on the slide. Let's just say that opinions are being exchanged. Dakota Barnathan, the captain for the Kickers, letting his thoughts be known as a yellow is given to Orson.
A yellow card caution has been issued to Omaha number 5, Jamie Orson, in the 88th minute.
Orson, his first year as a pro, coming from Stony Brook University after 3 years at Yale. This being his first professional start. Just late on that challenge as you get a chance to look at it again here.
Richmond, Virginia, get on your feet. It's time to stand up.
Yeah, that one will stink. Barnathan launches it to the corner. A lot of tangling happening there. Owusu rolling it up the field. You know the intensity is going to be high as this game continues to get closer to its conclusion. There's going to be a foul called here on Owusu. He can't believe it. It's taken quickly. Beckett Howell from the left channel. Howell dragging it across the middle. Dorado steps inside. Parried away by Jensen. Luca Dorado looking to drive the nail there. But Cole Jensen able to dive and make it stay at this 2-1 scoreline. Gets down to the ground quickly. Rolling over to Budati. Yunus Budati. Yeah, I didn't think that was clean. Daniel Moore pleading his case. That'll be a free kick for the Owls. And folks, buckle up. We got 10 more minutes here before this one's over.
Minimum of 10 minutes of stoppage time.
Loads of time for the Owls to find an equalizer. It'll feel like an eternity for the Kickers to hang on here, trying to find their first win in league play this season. So how will this one wrap up here? Billhard awaiting the go-ahead. John Motto making sure everything is in place the way he would like it. Caution's been issued to the bench for the Owls. Billhard. Whipping it in. On to the top of the 18. Here's an effort. Takes a deflection. Billhart second service. Chiba. Ripping effort. Saved by Filione. A fizzing shot. Through traffic. Jan Filione keeps track of it. Big save from the 30-year-old goalkeeper. And he gets some high fives from his defenders. How about this? That one was searching for the net. And Jan Filione denying it the pleasure. See the eyes behind Darren Sawatsky there on the bench, dialed in on this action. The Kickers and the Owls, two teams that have been in this league on the home side since its inception, and also a lot of years prior to that. And the Owls have been here since year number 2, so two strong representatives of USL League One doing battle here. Budati, the cross, too high for Batello Faz. Two teams that are strong representatives of this league and what it can provide for communities and players. Jan Filion launches this back into the fray. As time ticks along here, caution will be thrown more and more into the wind by Union Omaha. Here's Yunus Budati. Sliding it in. Knapp plays it centrally. Owusu. Not a bad idea, looking for Pato Batello Faz, who does have to give chase to Jan Filion, who isn't going to pick up the ball until there's someone right by him. Trying to shave off as much time as possible with every moment he gets the ball. He didn't like that shot, though, or that kick down the field. Less than satisfied with its delivery. Budati colliding with Daniel Moore, and it'll be a free kick for the Owls. A dangerous location as Bill Hart, along with Gutierrez, sit behind this dead ball and will now begin to scheme. It seems to be Bill Hart, the one who will take it. Bill Hart crossing it in, and Jan Filion rises up and claims it for his own. The fans cheer as 5 of the 10 minutes have transpired. Still so much time to go. Johnson with a late hit on Cabral, but play will go on. Jiba tearing down the left-hand side. Laying it to his left. Gutierrez. And pressed there by Hayden Anderson. Not going to give him anything easy. Gadiri takes a deflection. Corner kick incoming. Union Omaha scored their lone goal in this game off a corner kick. Can they find a second? Brandon Knapp was able to flip it along to Brett Coleman, who was able to drag it home. Now Gutierrez will be the one to provide service. And it's out of bounds. Took a kicker deflection. It's played short. Lovely fight for Bill Hart. Dances by one player. Knapp blocked away. Well worked there by the Owls, but Richmond able to stand firm. Three more minutes to go. The Owl barrage continues. Gainbridge playing it out wide. Jiba with some pace, rolling it in centrally. Not out of the play yet. Cleared by the kickers. Buildup lifting it inside, and it glances out for yet another corner kick. The Owls have had quite a few of these. Gutierrez ripping it inside. I believe Barnathan was the one who was able to knock that one away. 2 more minutes to go. Jiba heads it inside. Orson had a chance at it. And a collision in the penalty area. A card is out. Who is this for? It's on Orson, which is his second yellow. Jamie Orson has been sent off. Making his first professional start today. And well, he made it over 90 minutes. But he won't make it to the final whistle. It's a tough pill to swallow for the center back from Atlanta, Georgia.
Caution has been issued to Omaha number 5, Jamie Orson.
And that is the end of his night. And now we have 1 more minute plus whatever extra change that John Motto opts to add on. The kickers up a goal, up a man, trying to get their first win in USL League One play this season. They're able to get 2 wins in the Lamar Hunt US Open Cup, knocking off Nova FC and then beating Loudoun United, the USL Championship side. Now they're just trying to get their first win against the League One team this season. And we've hit triple digits. And now it's up to John Motto how long this game lasts. Ball went out of play. Perhaps one more foray for Union Omaha. Down a player to try to salvage a point here on the road. Buildup rolls it into the middle. Buildup just lacking on that cross. It's a goal kick. John Motto urges Filion, to rush here. Will there be any more moments for the Owls? Or have the kickers done enough? For the first time in 2026, 3 points are in the bank for the Richmond Kickers. And they knock off a tough foe in Union Omaha at home. A 3rd straight win against Los Bujos for Darren Sawatsky and company. Let's take a look at our man of the match, presented to you by Las Abogadas RVA. And it's Tarek Panholzer. Scored the game-winning goal. Was able to pick up the loose pieces, smash it home. And for that, he has won our Man of the Match award. Once again, Las Abogadas RVA presenting the Man of the Match. Big result for the Richmond Kickers and for the fans here at City Stadium. With that, we're going to send it to break. When we come back, we will have our post-game thoughts here on ESPN+. 2-1, your final score.
We would not have a business today if it weren't for the support of many, many people within the Richmond community. To me, we're working as a team to enhance the quality of life for all residents.
It's about being the best that you can be. It's about enriching the lives of people in your community. There's a reason why we have the tagline Nourish, because it's really about nourishing the lives of the people that work for us and the people that we serve. That's what the UCrops brand stands for.
Health. Suddenly that word seems more important these days, as it's consumed all aspects of our lives and made our universes feel smaller than ever. But at Bon Secours, your health has always been our top priority, and we're staying as committed as always to personalizing the right care for you. Because whether here or from home, we believe your health care should always revolve around you. Bon Secours, primary care for the universe of you. Visit bonsecours.com/primary care to connect with a provider today.
Final score is presented by YMCA, and it's a final score that the Red Army will appreciate. 2-1. The Richmond Kickers get their first win in the 2026 USL League One season. Mark Schoenster with you here for post-game coverage on ESPN+. Let's take a look at the full-time highlights, which are also brought to you by YMCA. And it starts off with quite the lovely goal from Darwin Espinal. But it's a goal that's pretty customary for him. He loves letting it fly from distance, and that's a tough one to take. Dances by a defender, lets it rip. No notes, 10 out of 10 from Darwin Espinal. Gives his team the lead early on in the game, but then the response from the Owls off the corner kick. Brandon Knapp flips it, and Brett Coleman finishes the job. 1-1 your scoreline. The Owls would have more control for the rest of the first half. And into the second half, though, the Kickers started to find something, and we would get our play of the match presented by Courtyard Marriott. Espinal nearly has a brace. Luckily, his teammate Tarek Panholzer is there, finishes the job, and it would be the eventual game winner in this affair. The German able to smash it the left-hand side, get a second goal of the season, and that would be enough to get the Kickers their first 3 points of the year. As we now look at the full-time stats brought to you by YMCA. The Kickers with 10 shots to Omaha's 17, but shots on target pretty equal. The Owls having more possession in this game, had longer stretches of time where they were throwing chances, crosses, passes into the attacking third against the Richmond Kickers, but kudos to the back line and to the rest of the team for the brave defending in this game for the home side. And then Jan Filion stepping up on one or two occasions to make sure that they could maintain the scoreline where it was at the moment of those chances, and then seeing this one through to the end, even with 10 minutes of stoppage time tacked on. Now both these teams will turn their attention to the USL Cup. It's the Independents coming to Richmond next weekend. Meanwhile, a road trip to Indianapolis for Union Omaha next Saturday. For our entire broadcasting crew for this game, my name is Mark Schoenster. We appreciate you tuning in. Be sure to flip over to One Knoxville and Charlotte Independence. It's 1-1 right now with 40 minutes to go. But from us, have a good evening, and we'll see you next time.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.